Hello and welcome back to our CorelDRAW beginner series brought to you by Ochek Technology. In lesson 1 and 2, we have learned about the interface and creating your first document in CorelDRAW. In this tutorial, you'll be learning how to draw and edit shape using CorelDRAW powerful drawing tools. We will cover the rectangle, a circle, polygon, freehand line, and how to manipulate them for real-world design. By the end of this lesson, you'll be able to 1. Draw and modify basic shape. 2. Convert shapes to curve for advanced editing. 3. Use keyboard shortcuts to save time. 4. Avoid common mistakes when working with shapes. We want you to watch this video to the end for professional tips and mistakes to avoid. So let's get started. Open the document you created in the last lesson, or you create a new one. Mine is open. In our last lesson, we had a rectangle there. I will want you to delete that to make your board empty. Make sure, if you're creating a new one, make sure your page size and your color mode are set. Now, I want you to look at the left side of your screen. We're going to be working on the toolbar today. So first, let's use the tool called the rectangle tools. I'd like you to click on it and come to your board and just drag it. Whichever way you drag it, you're forming a rectangular shape. So let's drag this and let's leave it here. And I want you to drag another one. We're going to do another shape using these same rectangle tools. But this time I want you to put your finger on the control key on your keyboard and then drag out. So whichever way you drag it, you are making a perfect square. Once you hold the control key of your keyboard, it gives you a perfect square when you are using your rectangle tools. Now I want us to quickly go over to our property bar and look at some things we can do to this shape. At this side, you can decide to adjust the height and the width. As this is a square, you have it to be 1.737, and look at the height is the same 1.737. Let's go to the rectangle. You have its width to be 2.712 and the height to be 1.19. Now you can make this adjustment proportional. That is, as you are increasing the width, the height should automatically increase by locking the ratio. Now if I remove and just make this just 2, you notice it's now 2 and here is 0.8. Now if I want to make this to just be 1, once I put 1 here and I click my board, it increases the top. Now if I don't want this, I will come and unlock this ratio. And once I unlock the ratio and I take out the other figures after the decimal point, you see it gives me 2 inches width and 1 inch height. By the way, I set my unit to inches. Click on the empty space here and come back and readjust it. That is, should in case you are using a different unit so that we can work together. Now for the square, same thing. If I change this, it turns it to a rectangle. But if I do not want that, I lock the ratio here, and I come here and I delete this, and I come back here, it reduces it to 1 inch by 1 inch. Another thing you can do right here is you can decide to create a corner curve, or corner radius. Now I'm going to zoom in a little. Remember that I told you that when you are using your external mouse, you can use your wheel to zoom in or zoom out. I just want you to see the effect of this. Now let's take the rectangle. Look at this padlock. It is not locked. It means I can work on each side of the corner differently. Now let me work on this angle. And for this angle, I begin to increase. And if you can see, if you notice, it is increasing. Now let's work on this square shape, and now at this time we're going to be locking up, and then let's increase. You see that now the corner has turned to the pointed corner now and now curved corner. So that's it for the rectangle. I want us to move to another shape, and that is the one under the rectangle, and that is the ellipse tool. Now this ellipse tool can give you 2 other shapes. Now, when you click on it and you just drag, you have an ellipse shape. So let's use this. Now let's create another one, and this time we're going to be using the control key. I'm holding my control key, and I'm going to be drawing out, and it's giving me now a perfect circle. Let's put this one also side by side. Now, there's one thing I want to show you which is applicable for all. If you look at the top now, the property bar is also different. You have the height and width, you have the lock ratio, but this time you don't have that corner, that curve corner settings. But here you're having an outline. Now this outline also worked for all shapes. Now I would want to increase the outline for this circle. Once I come and I hit 3, you see now it is thicker than the previous one. So you might want to also use this. This is another aspect. Let me come back to the square. You see now it has increased. So let's move to the polygon and star, and that is below the ellipse. You just click on it, you come to the top here, and then you decide how many sides you want it to be. You know what I mean? This is a polygon which has 5 sides, and we just draw. You just draw, you just drag it, and you have that. Now, if I want to increase, I want to work on this same one, and I want to increase the size. Just watch. Once I increase it, it becomes 6, becomes 8, becomes 10. So it increases by the size which I want. So it depends on what you want to work with. Now if you come back to that polygon and click to see it bring out the drop down for the other tools that are under it, you have the star. Let's take the star. And then the same thing happens to the star. You can decide to increase it. You can decide to increase it. And then you can decide to change what kind of star. This one is 5. We can increase it to 6, 7, and the rest. But let's start with the 5. This is 5 star. And then let's increase it. Becomes 6, 7. I'm changing it to this one, and I want to draw it. Now you see the kind of star is given to us. It's giving to us a complex star. A more complex star. Like I said, you can decide to increase the outline, just as we did for the previous one. Okay. Now stars are great for badge and logo elements. We'll move to the 5th tool we want to be using for today's lesson, and that is the freehand and Blazor drawing. So here's the freehand tools. You click and drag the line. If you notice now, I just use the freehand to make these shapes. Make this shape. Now for more precision, use the Blazor tools. You let it click 1 point by 1 point and create a customer part. Later, we will learn how to edit this part using Node. So let's click on our Bezier tools. All right, these are Bezier tools under the freehand tools, and this is how you use it. You take one, and as you move, it's creating a shape point by point. And we've just created another shape. And like I said, you can also decide to increase its outline. So I want to show you one thing that can help you in order to further edit. Now we have created all these shapes, and then maybe we want to further edit, make some edits on this shape. There's something we call curving. You convert your shapes to curve. Why? Because sometimes you need to customize your shape beyond its basic property. Now let's click on a new shape. Oh, I'm using the rectangle again, and this time we're creating a rectangle. Now in order for you to curve it, there are 2 patterns to it. Hold your Control and Q while you've highlighted at that shape in order to make it curvable. This allows you now to come and use your shape tool. With your shape tool, you can decide now to move your shape, to change where it is. It allows you to customize it differently. I'll be doing another example again. I'll still be using a square shape. the rectangle tools. Now I want to show you another way to curve. When you alight on your shape, look at this. I'm using CorelDRAW 19. So you might find it here. At the top here of the property bar, you have it convert to curve. When you click on it, it converts it immediately to curve. And then you come back to your tool bar and take the shape tools. When you hit on the shape tool, I'm going to be alighting two parts. I'm alighting this and I'm using my arrow right to shift it together. I have just adjusted this shape. Lastly, let's still do one more. At this side, I'm going to turn this now to a curve. Control Q. And when I come back here, I hold my 2. It has given me points. I can now decide now to extend. Decide now to extend. I can even add more by using my left click twice on that line. I've created another point here. I can remove it, alight it, or double click on it. It's also move away. So another thing we want to look at before we call the lessons to an end is combining shapes together. You can combine two shapes together in order to form a more complex, shape. This is the secret behind creating custom icons, logo, and graphics, making it different, making it unique. Now, I want us to duplicate this using our Control D. I'm bringing it down. And also we duplicate this, Control D, and we'll bring it down. And if you notice, I want to put it side by side. And this time around, I want to increase the star. I'll be using my shift. I'll be holding my shift, and I will be left clicking and dragging for it to go all through. All right, at this junction, I think it's okay here. So now I am alighting both of them together. And what I want to do now is I want to merge them. If you come to your top, for those using CorelDRAW 19, you have where you have this combine. You weld them together. You trim. You intersect. You simplify. And the rest, for the sake of this lesson, we're going to be welding together. And when we weld, it brings everything together. The combination of our polygon and our star has given us this shape, which is a unique shape. And I'm going to be increasing its outline, which is a unique shape. Here are some tips and some common errors to avoid. Dragging shape without holding the control can distort your design. It is very important that you hold control to keep shape proportionally when you are forming your perfect square or your perfect circle. Use your shift to draw from the center outward. After your shape has been created, you want to enlarge it or you want to reduce it. You hold your shift key and then you take it from the angle and reduce or increase it. Now, for another error is forgetting to convert to curve when you need a custom shape. If you need to adjust a shape, make sure you convert to curve. And you convert to curve using your Control Q. Lastly, you avoid is overlapping too many shapes without using the weld trim properly can confuse the layout. Notice why we're taking the last one. I only took 2 shapes and I aligned them properly before I weld it. Now, what I use in order to create a replicate of the shapes I had before was Control D, which is duplicate. And now I have a duplicate which I want to work with. Now, this is a mini practice for you. I want you to draw 3 shapes. 1, a perfect square. 2, a 5-pointed star. 3, a custom shape using your bezier tools. Then combine 2 shapes using weld or intersect to see how it works. That is it for this lesson, the 3rd lesson. You have learned how to create and customize shape, convert them to curve, and combine them to make new design. In the next lesson, we will work with text, adding, styling, and shaping text for logo, flyer, and more. If this video helped you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notification so you don't miss our next tutorial. Thank you.